Hi guys, this is gsno.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the Motorola Moto G8 Power. So last year the Moto G7 Power had a pretty impressive battery, and for the past 2 years the Motorola Moto G phones have had a green box. This one has a black box and it celebrates 100 million Moto G units sold. It was unveiled back in February. It swaps the single camera from the Moto G7 Power with a quad camera, and the price tag should be around $200, maybe even less in some countries, maybe even around $150 or $160. Okay, so it's an unboxing. We have here the beautiful Capri blue version of the phone. Let me show it to you. There's also one called Smoke Black, and this is it. This is the Capri blue. It has some lines, I don't know if you can see them, straight lines like an Armani suit, and here it feels like glitter at the top and bottom. Obviously it's made of plastic, and it feels just a bit heavier than the predecessor. I'm going to fire it up, and as it fires, I have to warn you, I've already played with it, and let's go towards the innards of the box. So first of all, you already noticed the silicone case, which is transparent and flexible and has holes for the cameras and fingerprint scanner. Then we move further, find this envelope here, which should hold the manuals. Okay, so we have the Moto G8 Power, manual and safety guide, and we should also have indeed the metal key used to access the slots. And by the way, one of the slots is a hybrid. It's a hybrid between the SIM and the micro SD. This is the new generation of wallpapers. They're quite playful and I would say youthful. Okay, we continue inside the box where we find a charger, which has an USB-A connector. This is an 18-watt charger, and I suppose it should charge the phone pretty fast. Well, considering it has a big battery, it remains to be seen. No headphones here, just the cable which goes from USB-C to full USB-A. And that's it, we've already covered everything available inside the box. Okay, ignoring that noise there, we go further in depth and we find here a phone which is made of plastic, and the thickness is now 9.6 millimeters and the weight is 197 grams. This means it's 0.3 millimeters thicker than the predecessor and also 4 grams heavier. On paper you shouldn't feel the difference. Well, I know someone who has this, well, the predecessor, and told me that this feels a bit heavier. Now the screen you're seeing right here and right now is an IPS LCD, 6.4 inch, Full HD+, and inside the handset we can find a Qualcomm Snapdraogn 655 CPU. It's an 11 nanometer chip, an upgrade from the 14 nanometer chip from last year, which was a Snapdragon 632. It's accompanied by 4 gigs of RAM, as well as 64 gigabytes of storage and a microSD card slot. Plus, this time around, we have stereo speakers, while the predecessor only had one speaker. Of course, the selling point is the battery. Inside here, there's a 5000 mAh battery with 18-watt charging, and embedded in the screen here, in a punch hole, is a 16 megapixel front camera for the selfies. Now the real kicker is the back side. It's not every day that you see a phone jumping from one camera to 4 cameras on a successor. Okay, so here we go. We got a setup that includes a main 16 megapixel shooter with f1.7 aperture, 8 megapixel telephoto 2x optical zoom surprise camera used for portraits, 8 megapixel ultrawide camera with 118 view angle as written here, plus a 2 megapixel macro camera. Color me impressed. We also have an LED flash and 4K video capture. Then there is the fingerprint scanner here, then there is the audio jack at the top, then there is the USB-C port here and speaker here. I suppose that the stereo setup involves this one and also the earpiece, which is rather discreet at the top side here. Okay, let's check out the fingerprint scanner in action. So I already set up my print. Let's see just how fast it is. I would say pretty fast. Let's try the other finger I have registered. Here we go. Let's just skip the assistant. Okay, and let's do one more. Finally, it unlocked it. Okay, aside from that, there's Wi-Fi BGN, and we also have Bluetooth 5.0. We also have GPS. There's Android 10 as the OS here with some slight customizations and modifications from Motorola. For example, the area you just saw here shows you moto actions, quick capture, fast flashlight, tips and tricks, and obviously you can replace these buttons with new navigation gestures. Of course, I'm going to get into the camera, and this is another area where Motorola has customized things. You can go straight to the telephoto and zoom. You got your ultra wide capture here with a bit of a lag, and the core options including macro, cutout, portrait, cinematograph, panorama. So these are basically the same as we saw last year, plus slow motion and a special macro video mode and time lapse. Okay, so that's about it. My first impression is that the phone is indeed a bit heavier and it tends to be a bit slippery, but luckily we have the case to both protect it and make it more grippy. And just so you know, the macro camera at the back side lets you take shots at between 2 centimeters and 8 centimeters of proximity. So that's about it. I like the clean software. I like the fact that we are actually getting Android 10 here, not some Android Pie and the promise of having to wait a few more months. And rest assured, we'll be back with a full review and a test of this huge and promising battery. On the box, it says that we're being promised 3 days of battery life. Let's see if that applies. And this has been the unboxing at gsn1.com. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.